Yeah. Well, I'm out of words. The Las Vegas Raiders lose again to the Miami Dolphins. Kind of all seen that coming, and I've been saying that, it's my opinion at this point in the season, with all of the leaks about Shedeur Sanders and Tom Brady and Mark Davis and all of that that we've reported here on this channel and other channels have reported, as well as the national media. I think that the Raiders are tanking. I think that you put Gardner Minshew in because yes, he'll put up a fight, but at the end of the day, he's not better than Tua. He's not better than the Miami Dolphins. And at the end of the day, if the game is on the line, the ball will be in his hands and he'll throw an interception. And, well, that's exactly what happened. So, listen, I know everybody that was on the Minshew Mania train, most have gotten off of that train because, it just makes sense. The dude's terrible. If you compare him to Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions and what he does today, they just crushed Jacksonville. Jared Goff put up 412 yards, averaging 14.2 yards per pass attempt, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, an 82.8% completion rating. And if you compare that to Gardner Minshew, he put up 282 yards, a 69.9 or 69.8% completion rating, and only an average of 6.6 yards per pass attempt, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. And so, yes, a really good quarterback like Jared Goff can average 14.2 yards per carry versus less than 7 yards per carry per pass attempt versus less than 7 yards per pass attempt. So double what Gardner Minshew is doing and still have a better completion percentage than Gardner Minshew. And what this shows is Gardner Minshew, he's only a game manager. That's all you can use him for. He's not going to be good for anything else. Dink and dunks, screen passes, short little out routes and short little, slant routes and stuff like that. That's it. So I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so that Gardner Minshew was not going to be a good quarterback. He's not going to suddenly turn into a real Pro Bowl style quarterback. And the Raiders at this point in the season are tanking. It's the only explanation that I can come up with is that the Raiders want to lose as many games as possible, because right now the Raiders just moved from the 5th spot up to the 4th spot. Cleveland, Tennessee, and Jacksonville are ahead of us. And the way that Tennessee and Jacksonville and Cleveland play, I think all 3 of them need a new quarterback. So it could be a real difficult situation for the Raiders moving forward. And Jacksonville, they lost again. It's a race to the bottom with the 4 worst teams in the NFL to see who's going to get that number 1 overall draft pick. Guys, it may have to come down to a situation where Deion Sanders forces one of these teams to trade away their pick to the Raiders, because the Raiders might not get it, because unfortunately we are in a 4-way tie, but the strength of schedule is what's going to dictate who gets first. And unfortunately, the teams that are ahead of us all have a better SOS standing than we do. So even if it's a 4-way tie at the end, we're going to be number 4. We need Cleveland to win. We need Tennessee to win. We need Jacksonville to win. And there's 7 games left in this season, and the Raiders cannot afford to win a single game. It was so frustrating to watch this game. And there's something else that I want to touch on as well. Do you guys notice that it seems like this year the referees are targeting Maxx Crosby? Could that be because of Maxx Crosby's political leanings? Because he's taking pictures with President Donald Trump? Now, I don't know, and I don't want to get into a political conspiracy theory on this, but it just seems to me He's gotten 4 big penalties in the past 4 games. And when you go look at those penalties, they're all BS. In fact, in this one that happened today, they're literally looking up at the big screen to determine what penalty they're going to call on him. They just threw the flag, but they're literally doing what they're not even supposed to be doing. Because if the referees are allowed to look at the big screen to figure out what penalty they're going to call on the replay, then how come you can't challenge that? How come you can't challenge a penalty when it's clearly not a penalty? And so for me personally, I'm watching this and I'm just starting to wonder, did Maxx Crosby getting involved with politics by taking a picture with the president, which I have no problem with whatsoever. I think anybody who does, you really got to check yourself. The dude's the president. It doesn't matter what your political leanings are. At the end of the day, everybody has the right to decide, right? If one player wanted to pick the liberals, the Democrats, that's fine. No problem with that. If you want to make a political statement, I don't even have a problem with somebody kneeling in protest at a game. I don't have a problem with that. But you should also not have a problem if somebody wants to wear a MAGA hat. Don't have a problem with that. See, that's the problem that we have right now in this country, is we're so divided that you can't even have a discourse. Now, for me personally, I have a political channel. It's called The Daily Rumble. I'll leave a link down in the description of this one if you guys want to go check it out. I am a conservative, but I'm not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat. I'm going to criticize both parties because, in my opinion, it is the political parties that are destroying this country. Not the idea of liberalism, not the idea of conservatism. It is the parties. It is the invested interests. It is the lobby groups. So if you guys want to go check that out, I'll drop a link down in the description below. Go check out my other channel, The Daily Rumble, over there or here on YouTube. I'm also on Rumble and on X as well. So I'll leave all those links below if you guys want to go and check them out. But back to football. Yeah, that's just my opinion. I think Maxx Crosby is being targeted for penalties more than he ever has. And I'm just kind of wondering, is it because of a political stance that he has taken? That being said, it doesn't matter at this point, Raider Nation, because we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. If we win, we're not going to the playoffs. It's simply to make us feel good about ourselves. But if we win, we're also have no shot at getting a franchise quarterback. And I'm telling you right now, Gardner Minshew is not the dude.